Coyote Pass. I want to set him free.
How are you going to do that?
I go and apologize. This is my journey. My hope is for them to receive it well. I just wanted to come and say that I apologize.
Wow.
I apologize. Here's the huge one for saying I didn't love you.
This is my husband here. Why do you think this is appropriate?
Apology is so needed here because this is still so toxic.
Do you apologize that you are toxic to me?
Hey, besties. Let's talk, because at this point, Kody Brown is acting like a father in name only, one who keeps bending the truth. According to one of his own kids, who recently broke their silence on social media, Leon Brown spoke up after a viral clip surfaced of Kody insisting he's been reaching out to his children, and they're simply not responding. Kody shifted the blame entirely onto his kids instead of looking at himself, claiming he's doing everything possible to rebuild those relationships. But Leon says that's simply not true. So let me show you a few clips of what Kody has publicly said on the show and in interviews about his kids. Well, I'm reaching out. When you try to heal a relationship that's been broken for years, it's not pretty. So I'm dealing with the not pretty part. I don't want to say ugly because I guess it's progress, but the bigger issue is that we fell apart as a family. I can't be the only one responsible for that. Everyone else has to own their part too. But I know I could have done better. I absolutely know it. And of course I'm trying, and I have been trying to be in contact with my kids so that I can do the hard work of repairing these really strained relationships.
Yeah.
And how's that going? It's tough because when you're on reality TV or doing podcasts or anything public, everything that comes out of your mouth is on record. People judge you by it. My opinion of myself doesn't matter. Your opinion of me, the way you present me to the public, that matters. So when this stuff comes up with your kids and they start saying, my dad did this, my dad did that, you have no way to defend yourself. I can't throw my own children under the bus, and maybe I've said things in the past that I shouldn't have, and that affects relationships. Reality TV can really harm relationships. I've reached out to every one of my children. I've reached out to every single one multiple times. And if they don't want a relationship with me, it's because they're not reciprocating. So last week on the show, Kody insisted that he has reached out to every single one of his kids, and if they aren't reconnecting, it's solely because they aren't giving anything back. Then on Fox 5 in New York, he doubled down, saying he's been actively trying to talk to his kids and repair things. He blamed the distance between him and his children on his ex-wives, saying they need to take responsibility and that the kids are just listening to their mothers. And then on the Decider podcast, Kody went even further, accusing podcasters and reporters like me of twisting things he said. He claimed that our commentary is shaping how his kids feel about him, insisting that we need to be more careful because what we say about him supposedly damages his relationships with his kids. He argued that it's not that what he says is offensive, it's the way we report it that influences his children. But I've watched Michael T watch this show in real time. And let me be extremely clear, Michael T is not responding to edited clips or commentary online. She is reacting directly to the words coming out of her father's mouth. And more importantly, it's not just what they see on screen, it's how they're treated when the cameras stop rolling. That is exactly why Leon's statement hits so hard. So today on Instagram, Leon posted this. Breaking my social media break to say just one thing. There's a ridiculous video of my father going around where he says he reaches out to his kids. Let me be FING clear. I have not heard from that man since my brother killed himself. Kody completely ignored me at Garrison's funeral. He is a liar. He is a joke of a father. That is all. Leon watched the same clip of Kody claiming he reaches out to all of his kids. Those were Kody's own words. And commentary doesn't matter here. Leon is responding directly to what Kody said he's been doing to fix these relationships. According to Leon, none of that is true. Now, I do know that Michael T has said Kody has reached out to her a couple of times, but she chose not to respond. So maybe he is reaching out to a few of the kids, specifically the ones he thinks he still has some influence over. But he's clearly not reaching out to all of them. And we already know that Kody and Robin's behavior at the funeral, along with the fallout surrounding Garrison's death, fractured the family in a way that can't be undone, at least not in the eyes of the kids. Because some of Kody's children genuinely believe, allegedly, that the way Kody treated Garrison on the show, the way he made him the center of so much tension, the way he blamed Garrison and Gabriel for his split with Janelle, all of that contributed to Garrison's declining mental health. Even Janelle said that after the family split, and after everything with Kody, Garrison was struggling deeply. She explained that he had started drinking to cope, trying to numb the emotional pain and depressive thoughts he was dealing with. But the root issue, according to her, was how rejected he felt by his father, the way Kody criticized him on camera, and the humiliation he endured publicly. All of that left scars. Some of Kody's kids want nothing to do with him anymore because they feel the way he behaves on the show has hurt them deeply, and some even blame him for what happened to Garrison. That's what a few of them have allegedly shared, and it's what has been reported in multiple articles. I can't say every single child feels this way, but generally speaking, several have expressed these kinds of emotions. Michael T. has openly said she doesn't have the emotional capacity to maintain a relationship with him. She's also made it clear that Kody's behavior at the funeral was a breaking point for her, a moment that pushed her to cut ties with both Kody and Robin. Now, with Leon speaking out, they're saying that Kody completely ignored them at the funeral. He brushed them off, acted like they weren't there, and hasn't reached out to them at all since. And the way Leon phrases it, saying that since their brother took his own life, Kody has not contacted them even once, hits extremely hard. On the show, Kody repeatedly insists that he's trying to rebuild those relationships, that he wants more time with his kids, and that he regrets how things turned out. He even leaned into sympathy on this week's episode, talking about Garrison in a way that made it seem like he was trying to show how connected they still were. He said, "I had a beer with Garrison the last time we were together, and made it sound like this was a meaningful, cherished memory." But that's not what he told People magazine after Garrison passed. Back then, he claimed he wished he could have had a beer with his son, implying it never happened. Now, suddenly on the show, the story changes. I don't believe Kody and Garrison had a healthy relationship. Yes, Garrison sent him a text shortly before he died, but the much bigger issue is the heartbreaking details surrounding his death. The medical examiner ruled it a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but noted that extreme alcohol intoxication played a major role. Garrison's blood alcohol level was around 0.33 or 0.34, dangerously high. He was severely intoxicated, to the point where it would have impaired his judgment and cognitive ability. The heartbreaking truth is that if he had been sober that night, he likely would not have taken his life. And yet here's Kody now using this narrative of, well, I had a beer with my son, even though he told people the opposite, that he wished he'd had that chance. This is the kind of inconsistency that feels like he's twisting the story for sympathy. These are lies that can easily be disproven by simply looking back at what he's already said publicly. This is why so many of his kids want nothing to do with him. It's not because people like me report on these situations. Even if I personally think Kody behaves terribly, the reporting is based on what he says himself and what the kids say in response. So when Kody insists, "I'm reaching out," but Leon counters with, "No, he isn't. I haven't heard from him since March 2024, and it's now November 2025. That's 19 months with zero contact." And then at the funeral, he doesn't speak to several of his own children. I've also mentioned before that at the National Guard event he attended, someone who was there told me he ignored some of his kids completely, walked in acting above everyone, expecting respect without giving it. Some of the kids didn't speak to him either. The distance goes both ways. Based on Kody's long history of bending the truth, I'm inclined to believe Leon. Their statement is heartbreaking, and it lines up with reporting I received almost 2 years ago, that Kody had pushed Leon away, largely because he struggled to accept their transition. I was told that Kody refuses to speak to Leon because they are transgender, and he simply does not accept that reality. I was also told that Robin doesn't accept it either, and that she and her older daughters have made hurtful comments about Leon, calling them evil and openly mocking them. Reports from The Sun, citing someone close to Kody, claimed that he does not recognize Leon's identity, won't accept who they are, and has no intention of having a relationship with them. On the other hand, Meri has stayed close to Leon. She has honored Leon's request for privacy and refuses to discuss them on the show. Whenever someone asks her about Leon during her Instagram lives or TikTok lives, she consistently responds with, "Leon doesn't want to be public-facing. I'm not going to invade their privacy." She'll usually add something simple like, "They're good. We're good," and leave it at that. Meri has held that boundary firmly, which is why you rarely see either her or Kody talk about Leon publicly. I truly believe Meri's quiet protection of Leon speaks volumes about her love for her child. Because if Meri ever decided to tell the full truth about why she clashes with Kody, she could easily say that it's partly because he tried to cheat her out of money and manipulate the situation with Coyote Pass, partly because of how he mistreated both her and Leon, but mostly because of his total rejection of their child simply for being transgender. You have to remember, they come from a religious culture that doesn't accept LGBTQ+ identities. Being gay, transgender, or non-binary is seen as sinful, evil, even dangerous. I get that everyone is entitled to their beliefs, but when it's your own child, I cannot understand treating them that way. Speaking as a mother, regardless of my personal views, I could never turn my back on my child if they said, "This is who I am, this is how I feel." Rejecting that part of them would feel like stabbing them in the heart. That kind of rejection, especially from family, is the type that people never fully recover from. And for many transgender and gay individuals, being pushed away by their families is one of the biggest reasons they struggle with their mental health or fall into dark places. Supporting them and honoring their journey is what helps keep them mentally strong. Kody continues to put his hunger for fame above the emotional well-being of his kids. And for that reason, I respect Leon for speaking up and correcting the narrative. Honestly, I think the reason Kody is suddenly on this apology tour is because he's terrified of them exposing the truth. Kody's lies only work when the people around him go along with them. As long as the family members enabled him in the past, he could hide his worst behavior and pretend to be someone he wasn't. But now, they've stopped protecting him. They've stopped keeping his secrets. And without that safety net, he can't keep spinning stories that make him look like a good guy. He desperately wants them to stay quiet and keep covering for him, but he can't force them anymore. And Kody absolutely knows that the show itself is part of what destroyed his relationships. Yet he won't walk away because, to him, fame matters far more than family ever has. I truly feel for Leon. I feel for anyone who's been rejected by their own parent. I feel for anyone who has been treated cruelly just for being who they are. And I think Kody is a heartbreaking example of how badly a father can fail his children. We'll see if any of the other kids speak out next. But that's all I've got for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching. Bye, bestie.